Q4FY24 earnings conference call hosted by IIFL Securities Limited. As a reminder, all participants' lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. And I've handed the conference over to Mr. Rahul Jivani from IIFL Securities Limited. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I am Rahul from IIFL Institutional Equities. I welcome you all to the fourth quarter earnings conference call of Rainbow Hospitals. From Rainbow, we have with us today Dr. Ramesh Kancharla, Chairman and Managing Director, Mr. Sanjeev Sukumaran, Group Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Vikas Maheshwari, Group CFO, and Mr. Saurabh Bhandari, Group Business Analyst. Over to you, sir, for your opening comments.
Thank you, Rahul. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to extend a warm welcome to the earnings call for the fourth quarter and the financial year 23-24. As I reflect on the quarter and the year, the last quarter witnessed the highest revenue and significant addition of the new beds across the group. However, the year witnessed flattish trend without any seasonal uptick in occupancy in Q2 and Q3, which are normally as seasonally strong quarters. The lower occupancies was as a result of delayed monsoon, lower seasonal illness-related admissions, cyclone effect in Chennai and parts of Andhra Pradesh. Despite these headwinds, we did well for the quarter and the year as a whole, both operationally and financially. There were so many milestones that we achieved during this quarter. Firstly, we commissioned 280 beds in the last quarter in three new spoke hospitals, each in Hyderabad, one in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, and also added a new block to the existing hospital in Hyderabad city. Apart from these hospitals, we opened the outpatient clinic in Hennur, Bangalore city. This is the first time that we had such a large capacity getting commissioned in a short span of time. Our projects team and the operations team have meticulously executed on ground to ensure the projects were commissioned on time. With these expansions, Rainbow now operates 2,000 plus beds, including the managed beds in Delhi. The second highlight is I'm extremely happy to share the Rainbow Children's Hospital flagship facility in Bangalore was awarded the prestigious Gold Seal of Quality approval by the Joint Commission International JCI. This recognition underscores our dedication to delivering world-class healthcare services to children. This makes us the only pediatric hospital chain in the country to have 3 hospitals accredited by JCI, the flagship facility in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and the fertility center in Hyderabad. These are three facilities we got the JCI. We have expanded our IVF services across the group. From 3 centers for providing IVF services last year, now we have about 11 centers offering IVF services. Fertility services have further strengthened our Birthright by Rainbow offering. We plan to add more IVF services wherever possible in our existing hospitals and also in the upcoming new hospitals as well. During the quarter, the company recorded its highest ever revenue. The key operating metrics during the quarter have been resilient despite all the capex and challenges during the year. We have done well on maintaining the financial discipline. As I stated in the previous call, we sensed the probability of having a muted season and have kept sharp focus on all the cost line items to optimize the costs. With these, I would like to dwell into the financial metrics for the fourth quarter. In Q4FY24, our revenue registered a growth of 7.6%, amounting to 341.1 crore. Similarly, our EBITDA saw an increase of 7.7% to reaching to 105.5 crores, and the PAT was down by 5.2% to 51.1 crore on account of higher depreciation and finance costs. For the quarter under review, our occupancy rates stood at 48.5%, highlighting specifics. Our mature hospitals recorded an occupancy of 59.2%. Additionally, our new hospitals reported an occupancy of 32.1%, which includes the newly opened hospitals in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai. Coming to upcoming projects update, the spoke hospital in Hennur, Bangalore, of 60 beds, and the regional spoke hospital, Rajahmundry in Andhra Pradesh, of 100 beds, are progressing well. Project stage is progressing well, and expected to commence operations in the Q4 of FY25. For the regional spoke hospital in Coimbatore, the project work has just begun. It is expected to take about 24 months for completion. We have now received possession letters for the both land parcels in Gurgaon, and working to get the conveyance deed done probably in a couple of weeks' time. Simultaneously, we are in the process of finalizing the architectural designs and expect to do the groundbreaking to happen in about 3 to 4 months' time. Beyond our growth plans, I would like to shed light on some significant achievements that underscore our dedication to pediatric healthcare excellence. Our commitment to advancing quaternary care has shown tangible results. In the last fiscal year, we successfully completed approximately 1,000 cardiac surgeries, including the cardiac cath procedures, along with the 75 transplants encompassing liver, kidney, and bone marrow. I would like to dwell on a couple of critical cases, which were challenging ones. The 5-year-old child was referred to Rainbow Children's Hospital, Banjara Hills, with a fulminant liver failure and a severe renal dysfunction. This child was ventilated with the liver support measures and the hemodialysis. We have evaluated for an urgent liver transplantation for a fulminant liver failure, but the donor, which is mother, was kind of a blood group mismatch, which poses serious problems during the transplant. That was mitigated with plasmapheresis and the rituximab, which is an immunosuppressive agent, to prevent the rejection of the graft versus host disease. The liver transplant was performed under great supervision by multiple teams, since the child was very critical and the perioperative, post-operative periods are very turbulent. However, the liver started functioning, the new liver started functioning in a few days' time. That started improving the renal functions as well as the liver functions and overall general condition. The child was in ICU for 20 days and was discharged after 6 weeks, very healthy. In another case, the 16-year-old boy from Nairobi, Kenya, came to our heart institute with a pumping heart, rather bouncing left chest after a blunt abdominal injury while playing football. This child underwent sternotomy for left ventricular aneurysmal repair in Nairobi 10 years ago. Once again, after the abdominal blunt injury, he developed aneurysm again in the same place. So therefore, our cardiologists have taken a unique approach of closing the aneurysm through the catheterization. So the VSC device was deployed angiographically across the mouth of the aneurysm, and position was confirmed by echo and angiogram. Post-procedure, the pumping heart or rather bouncing chest was completely disappeared with a normal cardiac function. This boy was discharged in 48 hours time. With these cases, I want to emphasize the need of multidisciplinary approach for tertiary and quaternary care patients for better outcomes. In conclusion, the year was challenging but very eventful. However, I am optimistic and hopeful as we move to the next year. We have put in a lot of hard work to strengthen our operations, added leadership to teams to corporate sales, projects, nursing, and the learning and development. So this foundation will help us to achieve growth in the coming year. As we celebrate our Silver Jubilee year of providing world-class children's health care in India, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our doctors, nurses, and the entire Rainbow family, along with the valued stakeholders and young parents who have contributed to the incredible Rainbow journey. With this, I would like to pass the mic to our Group CFO, Mr. Vikas Maheshwari, to take you to the financial updates. Thank you once again for joining us today. We look forward to your questions and insights as we move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A very good morning to all of you, and thanks for attending this teleconference. I am happy to brief the financial performance and key developments of Rainbow Hospitals for the fourth quarter and FY 2024. Our operating revenue for the quarter is stood at 341.1 crores, reflecting a growth of 7.6% when compared to the corresponding quarter of the previous financial year. At rupees 1,297 crores, reflecting a growth of 10.5% when compared to the previous financial year. Our EBITDA for the quarter amounted to rupees 105.5 crores, marking a growth of 7.7% compared to the same period last year. For the full year, our EBITDA stood at rupees 428.9 crores, reflecting a growth of 8.2% when compared to the previous financial year. The EBITDA margins for the current quarter was 30.9%, while for the full year, our EBITDA margin was 33.1%. The profit after tax for the quarter is rupees 51.1 crores, with a degrowth of 5.2% in comparison to the corresponding quarter of the last financial year. The increased depreciation and the interest expense to the tune of 7.9 crore rupees mainly towards the new units impacted PAT growth. For the full year, our PAT stood at 218.3 crores, reflecting a growth of 2.8% when compared to the previous financial year. For the full year, the impact of depreciation and interest was on account of new units was 12.5 crores. In terms of operational performance, the outpatient and inpatient growth was 3% and 1% respectively for the current year when compared to the last financial year. The deliveries grew by 7% compared to the last year. For the year, the ROC and ROE are 29.6% and 18.8% respectively. It is expected to go up as the new units commence operation and deliver healthy growth. Our payer mix continued to remain robust and balanced for the quarter, where 53.3% of the revenue coming from the insurance and the balance 46.7% coming from the cash patients. For the full year, the payer mix stands at 49.4 cash patients and 50.6 from the insurance segment. Furthermore, our international business was 2.5% of our total business for the fourth quarter and 3.4% for the full year. Our total international business for the year was approximately 44 crore rupees. I am pleased to inform that our company's balance sheet remains robust with net cash position of 515.9 crores as of 31st March of this year and will support our ongoing capital expenditure plan as outlined by Dr. Ramesh, Chairman and Managing Director. Given our current cash flow and anticipated internal accruals in the coming year, we remain confident in our ability to complete all planned capital expenditure through internal accruals without any debt financing. For the quarter, the company has invested approximately 50 crore rupees in the capital expenditure. I am pleased to share that the board has recommended the final dividend of 3 for the year. With these insights, I conclude my financial update. I now invite questions and suggestions from the participants. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handset while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Bansi from JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for taking my question. My first question is on the IP and OP volume growth that we've seen this year. So we understand, this year was, seasonally softer for us. But despite that, the volume growth of 1% and 3%, both respectively for IP and OP, seems very low. So is there any other reason besides the seasonality? And how should we think about a steady state volume growth for our business?
Thank you, Ms. Francie. The last year was kind of what we have seen, which we rarely see this kind of flattish year. That's usually the Q2 and Q3, we do see about an average of 6% uptick in the occupancies, resultant revenues as well, both the quarters. That's completely not seen in the last year, which is unusual. What I can see is that sometimes in the last 25 years of my journey, we do see that kind of a 3-4 years run, then there's a pause of a year time, and then it gets settled after that. So apart from these some of the kind of seasonal plus the local factors like the floods and cyclones, we haven't seen any other factors really impacted the admissions and occupancy.
Okay, so assuming this year to be a normal year in terms of monsoons, should we then assume like a good mid-single digit kind of growth in IP volumes?
Yeah. See, if we go back and see, we've done the revenues fairly well, and that's the business which comes from the obstetrics and intensive care services and the tertiary important care specialty services. And if we foresee that season is going to be a fairly normal year, it's kind of a monsoon coming at the right time, and overall no other significant factors. I don't foresee it because all the elections, everything is getting done. So I would expect this year is going to come back to kind of a good the occupancies and volumes, and also on top of it, last year we've been pretty busy with building up capacity, building the capacity number of beds, and this year is going to be kind of single most focus is to build a business.
Understood. Thanks. And my second question is on IVF, expansion that we've announced. We've done 11 hospitals now, where we are providing the services. There's significant ramp up this particular year. So just wanting to understand, this category has always remained quite promising. So what prompted us to be aggressive this particular year? Are there any changes in regulation that has come through? And how should we think about this opportunity, say over next 4 to 5 years, how meaningful can it be for Rainbow? And what kind of investments will be required for you to grow this business?
Okay. So as we kind of are building more and more spoke hospitals in Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Chennai, and also Andhra Pradesh, what we have seen is that now our obstetrics volumes in terms of delivery and also outpatient numbers are going up significantly. So that is something that the IVF will naturally grow within the system. So the patients, they have a lot of trust in us in terms of the woman's care. This IVF kind of adding at this point of the time, we thought that we deliberated and thought it makes sense, so that our own captive population who are coming to Rainbow is one, and also that people are kind of expecting to have a kind of a very ethical IVF. Because if you look at it, all the centers what we have done, we have not done any standalone centers. They've all been within the existing hospitals. This is the approach we want to take it, because we have 19 centers. So we try to do add wherever is kind of opportunity is good. We would like to kind of ramp up the facility services. That is the kind of cost-conscious decision we have taken, and we are optimistic about kind of a growth of IVF within the gamut of Rainbow.
And in terms of investments, sir, if you can call out, what are the kind of investments are we looking at?
I think it's in IVF, generally when people do it, it's kind of it's a very cookie cutter model. It's about 1.25 to 1.5 crores. But when we're doing within the hospitals, especially the new hospitals or existing hospitals, we have done as an inclusive. And when you look at our centers, the quality-wise, they're pretty very well taken care. So I would say that it's going to be kind of probably 1.5 to 1.75. I don't have an accurate number at the moment of how much capex we invested, because they always go together along with the kind of overall unit development rather than a separate capex, a separate space, because space is already there, and we try to reorganize ourselves to fill the services within the existing facilities.
Okay, and fair to assume this would be very profitable.
I think so. We will see that probably a year down the line we'll have experience to let you know that what is the profitability in IVF, because at this point of the time what we are looking at is that as we are like normally a full-time doctor engagement model, so we are recruiting the doctors who are well-trained doctors who can build a capability in IVF and with the good results. That's what we're focusing on now. I think as we pass the year, when the year passes, we'll know that what is the kind of the profitabilities in the IVF.
Got it. I have more questions. I'll join back with you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Damayanti Kerai from HSBC Securities and Capital Markets India Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. My first question is on your payer mix. So now insurance is more than like 50% of your total payer mix. So do you see more headroom to grow it? And if you can also update us if you are done with tariff hike and rate negotiation for the cash as well as insurance channel.
So, Damayanti, is a good question. So, for the quarter, we have seen the uptick of the insurance business, which is stands at around 53%, and for the full year is almost 50-50 with cash and insurance. But since our penetration is increasing in Bangalore and Chennai and Hyderabad, and which are more of formal economy is very great here, and a lot of overseas companies and the domestic companies which are setting up their service centers, we expect it to keep on increasing. Also, the awareness about the insurance in particular we have seen is going up. So we expect that, yes, it should see some uptick going forward. But let us wait and see how it progresses quarter on quarter. But this quarter we have seen the growth. As far as the renewal of GIPSA and the cash insurance tariff, etc., is concerned, it is an ongoing process, and then as and when those tariffs becomes due for the renewal, we keep taking it up with the insurance companies and finalize the tariff. So this is what the status as on date, Damayanti.
So your renewal cycle is generally 2 years, right? When you renegotiate your tariffs, etc.
Correct.
Okay. So
generally, it is taking longer period for the finalization nowadays because there is both sides there is a push on the tariff side. So it is taking little longer cycle, though it is due for 2 years. But more or less, our team is working on that, and then we are finalizing as and when it is. We feel that is a good tariff to close.
Okay, and this cash part, do you take hike on 1st of April every year, or there is any other cycle? How does that cash division work?
So cash tariff, I will say that we keep evaluating our cost structure and the market pricing, and based on both the component we take a call. It is not necessary that it should be the year beginning exercise. It can be on the mid-year exercise, as in when the demands require to react on that, we react on that. We have a complete tariff committee who keeps looking at the cost and the pricing which our competitors are charging. And based on that assessment, the committee takes a decision on that.
Sure. And then I guess we have seen very strong growth on the ARPOB numbers across the quarters for last fiscal. And I believe majority of this is driven by this improving penetration in the insurance channel. Or do you attribute case mix also to be a big contributor there?
Mostly the case mix, Damayanti. What we have analyzed ourselves is that we have seen our quaternary and tertiary care business going up basically, and where the ARPP is higher. Obviously, the ALOS also plays a role in deciding the ARPOB. But what we have seen, on an average, the quaternary care business has gone up in the last year, and that is why we are seeing the uptick on the ARPOB. Obviously, there is some impact of price increase which we have taken in between, but mostly from the tertiary and the quaternary care which has gone up.
Okay, and just to confirm, this price hike which you take is just it's in single digit, right? Maybe a lower single digit which you might have taken, and then mix played a bigger role.
Inflation adjusted between 5 to 7%, MNC.
5 to 7%. Okay. And my final question is on your strategy for international patient segment. So around 3.4%, which you mentioned for FY24. So do you have any target for next 2 to 3 years, which you would like to achieve?
Damayanti, that's kind of this is a fairly nascent initiative of international business. However, we have done fairly well, about 3.6% last year. We expect to do about 5% for the in the present year, 24-25. This is what we look at it. So what we are trying to do is that kind of engage more with our governments, the kind of African and neighboring countries and those things. And also, second initiative we want to do is we want to get connected to more and more doctors. Children's business is always better to connect with the doctors. If the doctor starts happening to you, that becomes more organic. So this is what we have been trying to do, rather than trying to go get the business through the people, intermediaries. This is what our long-term focus is. That now, being a super specialty children's hospital, we aim at actually building our reputation and brand across the Indian neighborhood and also in the Africa and the Middle Eastern parts of the country. It's a long journey, but I think that's going to be more sustainable and going to be more organic. That's our view of international business. However, we expect about 5% business in the 24-25 in the present year.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your response.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Nitesh Dutt from Burman Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning. My first question is on the new hospitals operationalized this quarter. So what was the EBITDA loss from these new hospitals, and also what was the occupancy and ARPOB, and how soon do you expect break-even from this?
Hi, Nitesh. For the 3 units which we have opened at 3 cities respectively, it was that opened in the last quarter. And the EBITDA losses was in the range of roughly 5 to 6 crores from these units. And as far as this occupancy and the revenue, I think this is very early, stage to judge and give any comment on that. But from our side, whatever the clinical side and the doctor side is required, the recruitment, etc., we have done that. And we are also seeing some progress on the revenue ramp-up happening on all the 3 hospitals. But let us wait for another quarter, and then before we give any judgment on that, how we feel about these 3 hospitals ramp-up and guidance on that.
Sure. Second question is, the mature hospitals in Q4 had a higher occupancy versus in Q3. So what was the reason for this occupancy increase? Because overall the occupancy has gone down.
Yeah, that's correct. Because as you know, our business is little cyclical business. and the quarter second is generally going to be the best quarter, and quarter three and quarter four, successively comes down. But if you look at our peak quarter, which was the September quarter, and the March quarter is more or less a flattish one, right? So that is what we are seeing. And second, we have added few beds, right? We have in our Hydernagar unit, which is the matured hospital, we have added 50-60 beds there. So the impact of that is also which is reflecting on the occupancy fall.
No, I'm just asking that Q4 should be a slower quarter in terms of occupancy, but actually for mature hospitals, occupancy in Q3 was 57%, in Q4 it is 59%. So just trying to understand the seasonality pattern, if it's not repeating for mature hospitals, but occurring for new hospitals.
Yeah, the variability is not that significant, to be honest with you. I think it's probably that occupancy is slightly more because of the Hyderabad cluster and the Andhra clusters have clocked a little more occupancy, which is why we are seeing a little uptick on the occupancy compared to the last year quarter. But overall, when you look at it, the last year is completely very different year with a lot of viral illness like adenoviral infections, and the occupancies were kind of all over, very high in the last year at group level.
Correct. And so when this normalizes, assuming occupancies come back in FY25 and seasonality pattern also comes back, so will our case mix be getting back to earlier levels? So meaning the ARPOB that we are seeing currently, do you expect it to come down for FY25 if occupancies come back?
See, what happens is our business, we expect it to kind of do our case mix to improve year on year in terms of the specialty services, obstetrics, specialty services, intensive care services, as well as quaternary care. That is the trajectory what we would like to see. The occupancies will actually vary because of the seasonal business, which is secondary, which is the more of a kind of pediatric admissions, the seasonal related admissions and those things. That will give a kind of bump of the occupancy significantly in there. Usually what we see in the Q2, Q3, sometimes some variabilities after we see it. When you have to blend, what results in is that higher outpatient turnover and higher overall occupancy levels, and you may not have the if you see other parallel theories that we had a 14% ARPOB growth, because one reason for the ARPOB growth of 14% is because there's not much of a seasonal business. When you have a lot of seasonal business, ARPOB will get kind of marginalized to an extent. So our regular business was pretty good 23-24, but the seasonal business was muted. As we expect this year, having a normal rainfalls and as we move forward of a regular year, we will have higher occupancies about, we would expect about the crossover occupancies about 55% at the year level. And that will give us a kind of a both blend of kind of a good complex business as well as a seasonal business, and also higher outpatient volumes overall results in higher occupancies, higher revenues, and better EBITDA.
Correct. Thanks for that, sir. Any expectations or guidance for ARPOB as well for FY25?
ARPOB? I think we last year when we look at it now, we have taken most of the insurance negotiations have been done, and the price optimization, the price hike has been taken, and also the handsome significant the complex business has happened. When you see that expected a lot of seasonal business, our ARPOBs may stay the same or may actually be a kind of a plus or minus 1%. That's how we do. I'm not looking at the ARPOB growth of this year. We would like to see the growth in numbers, both in IPs and OPDs and overall occupancies. That's what I would look at the trajectory this year.
Sorry, thanks. I'll come back.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you may press star and one to ask a question. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Karan Gupta from Vadanium Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi. Good morning.
Morning.
Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So my first question is regarding seasonality. I'm not able to understand the seasonality part because last year, first quarter, we said there was, the holiday of doctors. So we were down in the quarter one. In the second quarter, we were saying that there is a heavy rain in the southern part of the India, so we were down. In the third quarter, we had festivals, so that's why seasonality wala part will come. And fourth quarter, so what is the seasonality part? You said quarter two and quarter three were down last year because of the seasonality, and now you are saying quarter three and quarter four. So just say seasonality and what's the reason behind that?
Yeah, Mr. Gupta, actually we have children's hospital. Okay, so we don't have we don't do a government business, CGHS, state government owned programs, any of those things. We are purely private hospital. So therefore, that most of our business is very organic. In the children's hospitals, we have three different types of businesses. One is that your regular pediatric business and outpatients plus regular inpatient admissions. Number two is that your intensive care services. Number three is specialties and coronary care services, which includes all the pediatric super specialties in neurology, gastroenterology, nephrology, plus organ transplantation, all those stuff. And number four is other bucket is significant is the obstetrics and gynecology. So what affects the seasonality to next large extent is the pediatric admissions, which are kind of pneumonias or fevers or viral illnesses or dengue, whatever is the whole bucket of the season monsoon related or the winter related viruses, which is making the community become sick. Children are more vulnerable and prone, so they require more number of admissions. That's what it is. As a result of sometimes, because of the heavy load of seasonal illnesses, some of the children become more and more sicker. They require intensive care services. Therefore, the intensive care services also become kind of more busier because of some encephalitis, meningitis, this kind of serious illnesses also will go up thick. So that is usually happens from the July till December, which is the Q2 and the Q4. So the Q1 is actually the March, April, May, which is the holidays for children and parents and everyone. People go out of the cities, and it's fairly healthy season as well. You don't see people falling sick. What do we do in that kind of time? During those times, we do a lot of children's surgeries, ENT surgeries, pediatric surgeries, and obstetrics and gynecology. They take the lead. And also the cardiac work and transplant work both take the lead. The occupancies will be lower in these things because of the absence of seasonal illness and also people going out of the town. And the Q4 is going to be kind of a January to March. Generally, this period is marked with a fairly healthy season. Thus, you have a fairly healthy season. And also, when people kind of March exam starts, so people start preparing for exams. The Q4 also kind of not so much of a higher outpatients or inpatient admissions, which are routine admissions. This is how overall our business goes. It takes a varied pattern. The Q1 and Q4 are lower, Q2, Q3 are higher.
Okay. Second is related to our patient acquisition part. What's the update you were saying in the last quarter that small mother and care children hospitals, we were approaching that those hospitals don't have much specialty treatment, so they will refer to us. So, what the steps you are taking in, and any advertisement or this kind of thing you are doing for the patient acquisition, that we are providing the best services for the children care, so patients will attract to us. Anything like that?
No, see, our positioning is still different. We are not a mother and baby hospital or mother and child hospital.
Mm-hmm.
We are a children's hospital. We also have a significant maternity. That bucket is a kind of birth, right? It is a prenatal services. So our face is a children's hospital. Our drive is children's hospitals. What we have is a 24/7 children's services and 24/7 emergency services, 24/7 transport services. That's why people know us as a children's hospital. I think that's what our positioning is, that we don't conflict with the boutique centers like delivery centers and the birthing centers. I think there is absolute clarity that way in the southern part of the country, and also Delhi also kind of people know it very well that what the Rainbow Children's Hospital is for.
Okay. No, my question was, if we are approaching to small mother care hospitals that don't have much specialty treatment, so if the hospitals, those who are just giving the birth to the babies, right? So if there are any critical illness happening to the children, that they don't care.
Yeah, we do get referrals. We do get referrals from mother and baby hospitals. We do get referrals from small children's hospitals. The thing is, our services are kind of more of what we offer is a level 3, level 4 newborn and pediatric intensive care services. Obviously, if someone is short of it, they will refer the patients. Our parents themselves are very clever nowadays. So they know that where to go when the child is sick, behind a point, when the baby is sick, typically unwell, when there's a smaller baby, less than 1 kilogram. They know that what is kind of where to go. So there are two ways it happens. There is hospital refers, and also a lot of times the parents themselves decide to come. They come and take opinions. They come and talk to us. They come and see. Then they make a decision.
Oh. Yeah. Thanks for the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhay Sahodkar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My question is on the growth side of the business, wherein, let's say in FY22 and 21, our base was very small. Hence, we were growing at about 20 plus growth in the top line. But after Q2 of FY23, our revenues are barely growing at 8 to 9%. So what growth can we expect in the top line and the bottom line for the upcoming years and all?
And I think that we move forward, I think we need to see that our growth is probably going to be mid-teens. This is what we would expect it. If we do mid-teens, then automatically the bottom line follows that.
Okay. Can you able to quantify the number in the future growth?
I think as we move forward, the organization becoming larger, and we have a lot of we continue to add new beds. We have added almost about 440 beds or something in the last 2 years' time, and we have about another 600 in the pipeline for next 3 years' time. So the organization, the hospital, we are in a building stage. So therefore, that growth is an important factor. And also the margins also we're fairly cognizant about. We have always given our guidance to kind of where our margins are going to be fun. But it depends on sometimes, how much of a new capacity coming in, that will definitely moderate to an extent of the margins. So therefore, we'll continue to kind of be a kind of growing about 15-18% of the growth. And also that the bottom line closely follows it. This is how we have been kind of a very disciplined in terms of our growth versus the top line and bottom line. So this is the kind of, the discipline we've always followed. We continue to follow that. But at the same time, the nation needs the larger footprint of children's hospitals, and building that is also very important.
Okay, great. So my next question is on the footwork of our brand recall in the Chennai and AP. So what are we going to improve or make our frame our strategies to improve our brand recall in the Chennai and Andhra Pradesh?
I think in South is a pretty household name. Even Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, in Chennai. I won't say that entire Tamil Nadu in Chennai and Bangalore. These are the areas the brand recall is pretty high. And we continue to kind of there are two ways about it. One is that inclusivity with the doctors. Being a children's hospital, our inclusivity is mostly with the pediatricians and obstetricians. That's one group of that. Generally, for the public awareness, I think nowadays, whatever you do, ATL, BTL, they're not really going to kind of work very well. It's more of a digital now. And one of the things we started doing more and more is that, suppose in Chennai, if you look at the digital media in the local language, Tamil, is very strong. So we are trying to kind of a more regional, speak in the regional language than kind of at a national level. When you go in Chennai, we should do the Tamil more, and same thing with the Karnataka and more of Kannada. So these are the levers which we are actually taking it more strongly now.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. That's all from my side.
Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhara Patwa from SMIF Limited. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Just one question, sir. My question was an IVF unit. Usually, it is a non-invasive procedure and a daycare procedure. So, do you think the capex of 1.5 to 1.7 CR per bed is quite high? So, is the cost higher on the clinical talent side or on the infrastructure side? Thank you.
And we look at the both. We are a quality hospital. We always look at our services to be for futuristic. I mean, whatever the hospitals we build, whatever we kind of do it, there's standards which are going to be kind of a pretty looked at very differently. So as I told an earlier question, that I haven't thought clearly that what is the exact amount has gone in for the specific. It's difficult to delineate also because we are kind of doing as a part of our existing space. If I do standalone, then I know exactly the capex. It's difficult to pinpoint this is the amount is gone for IVF. When you look at the capex for the equipment, yes, we can do that. When you do an interior environment, it has to be pari-passu with the rest of the hospitals. It can't be kind of downgraded, isn't it? The standalone IVF centers are very different. They can take whatever the approach they want to take it. But unfortunately, being a hospital and also that the level of the significance of building a good hospital for children and women's care has always been a higher standard for us.
Sure, sir. Thanks. That's helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Alankar Garude from Kotak Institutional Equities. Please go ahead.
Hi, good morning everyone. Sir, can you provide some qualitative comments on the performance across Bangalore, Chennai and the Madhukar Hospital in FY24?
Hi Madhukar. Hi Alankar. As far as Bangalore and Chennai is concerned, I will say compared to the Hyderabad standards, the Bangalore has picked up well. All the 3 units which were opened and working fine is good, doing good. The new units which we have opened at Sarjapur has seen a very good traction. It is growing as per our expectations. So that cluster is doing very well. And we expect that as we ramp up our operations there and grow more units in the future there. I think the brand recall and the growth will be similar to what we are seeing in Hyderabad, or slightly less than what we are seeing in Hyderabad. As far as Chennai is concerned, that is the cluster which is slightly below of our expectations. But the team is working hard on the ground. We have seen some change in the leadership also there, putting up more efforts on the marketing and sales efforts on there. And we expect that this year it should, see the performance as per expectation. So this is what is the brief commentary on the cluster. As far as Delhi is concerned, again, we have put up a lot of efforts on that. And for the March quarter, I will say the benefits are not being seen much there. But hopefully in this year, we will see the good traction coming up for whatever the seats we have shown in the last 1 year. The efforts which we have taken, that should start showing some results.
Thank you for that, Vikas. And just a follow-up on Madhukar, what is the outstanding amount now? And safer to assume that the hospital is making EBITDA margins in the range of early double digits even today?
It is a high single digit, Alankar, which is on the EBITDA. And it is improving. If I say whether the performance has improved versus last year, the answer is yes. And they have been able to pay the loan. So as on date, 31st March, the loan outstanding was roughly 21 crore rupees. So they have paid some 5-6 crore rupees in the last year. Whatever the EBITDA they have generated, we could have taken it back.
Understood. The second question is, so we have 2 land parcels in Gurgaon. I know it's a bit early, but do you broadly plan to commence operations at both the hub and spoke around the same time? And if it's yes, would that be a slight deviation from your usual strategy of opening a larger hospital first and then adding spokes?
Yeah, Alankar, is a good question. So now we are seeing the light in the end of the tunnel, that we have got the position letter. We have paid for the registration fee, and we expect it to get registered in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, we'll get it done. At the same time, the management has also appointed the architect, the conceptual design, etc., work in progress, and we expect it to have a groundbreaking in 3 to 4 months' time. The effort is that the first our smaller hospital, which is the spoke hospital, be up and running, because that will be not much of the larger size, right? So the effort is that we should start that, and within 6 months of that time period, the hub hospital should also be ready and up and running. And so that is what we are planning as on date for this. As far as your questions regarding the first start hub and then spoke, I think that a spoke hospital will be also very larger hospital, and then it is a good to go if it is ready ahead of the time, right?
Fair enough, Vikas.
Some presence in Delhi market.
Well, Alankar, this is as we earlier kind of guided, the large hospital, which is going to be 300 plus beds, is going to be a kind of the standalone pediatric super specialty hospitals, to largely focus on the tertiary quaternary care. This is how we want to kind of look at it, like how you look at the proper adult multi-specialty, maybe a little much more focused one. That's what as a doctor, what I've been running healthcare 25 years. I see that opportunity. I see that is country requires. That's number one. That's not going to be focused for Gurgaon. That's going to be focused for the north, perhaps for the India, and also for the international. So the positioning of the hospital is going to be very, very different. The second thing is that the hospital, another one in the Colfort Road, which is going to be about 125 beds hospital. So that will be a kind of for large intensive cares and obstetrics, large obstetrics and large newborn intensive care, like a lot of retrieval systems. It may be a kind of a place, a significant role for the Gurgaon and also expanding portions of the Gurgaon and Faridabad and those areas. So this is how we would like to position that. We don't want to kind of have too much of a confusion between the children's hospital of high standards or children's super specialty hospital of more focused approach. This is how we envisage these two hospitals, sir.
Understood, sir. One suggestion. Given that we now have a sizable number of hospitals, 19 in number, which are largely across 4 major clusters, it would be really helpful if we can start providing the financial and operating metrics across clusters. This mature and new hospital, that number keeps on changing, and that issue will only get exaggerated as we keep on adding more hospitals. So for a like-to-like comparison, it would be really helpful if we get more details on each of these clusters. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so we'll review and see how it's run. Because one of the reasons why you're kind of seeing is the clusters which are maturing, right? With the Chennai is still adding one more spoke. Recently, there's going to be one more spoke as we move forward. Bangalore requires more. So when you are kind of continuously ongoing activity in building our capacity building, I always believe in it that in the hub and spoke for children's hospital model is capacity building is important. So that is how actually you were able to kind of cover the city at larger and also wider coverage of city of children's emergencies and children's care is more important. That is the vision of Rainbow. So, which is why we always felt that matured and the new hospitals, the bucket, it probably makes more sense in terms of the presenting to that kind of investors and analysts. So we will review once again, Mr. Alankar, and see what is right for us at the end of the day.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alankar.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Harsh from Bandhan AMC. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so hi. Just two quick questions. One, between matured and new hospitals, just from a fourth quarter perspective, the RPOB improvement, and this goes back to the comment that you made that there's some level of case mix improvement as well as the pricing. So you have the quaternary and specialized care mix improving. I'm just trying to understand whether only new hospitals are seeing a significant level of case mix improvement and the pricing component is substantial for mature hospitals, or it goes both the ways. As in mature hospitals are also continue to see a lot of case mix improvement as well as pricing. I'm just trying to understand the split of that RPOB improvement.
So I think what's important is that what kind of category of hospitals is there? Which is hub hospitals behave differently for the spokes. The spokes actually, as they mature, definitely they will have a better realization because you have a lot more outpatients or something keep building up, which is significant part of our revenue. Number one. Number two is that as we kind of move forward, the RPOP may not increase significantly, variability in the spoke hospitals. When it comes to the hub hospitals, RPOP may play some role because of the case mix in the higher category improves. So that's how we look at it. So it varies between but at the same time, when you see RPOPs between the hub and spoke, the variability is maybe about 5-6%. Not very, very significant because the spokes does a lot of turnover. I mean, the ALOS will be shorter, much shorter than hub hospital, and the outpatients are kind of 1.5-fold higher than hub hospital. So these are the factors which actually make sense. It creates a nice blend between the hub and spoke. We wouldn't have so much of variability of the RPOPs.
Sure. And on previous comment on insurance pricing, just to clarify, you are expecting some insurance contracts repricing to kick into FY25. I understand that there will be multiple moving parts to this, but you are awaiting insurance pricing in certain contracts and certain regions. Is that correct? For FY25?
Yeah, so, there's a time cycle when it lands for the renewal. So as and when those contracts keeps coming for renewal, we keep doing it. So it's an ongoing process. Every quarter there will be something for the renewal.
Sure, sir. Thank you.